Hello YouTube, thanks for coming back for another video. Today I have something I've been wanting to make a video on for a while now. Basically just talking about my glute transformation, how I did it, why I did it. So if you didn't see on the thumbnail, this is my glute transformation. That took me, the time between those pictures, the no butt Marissa was probably, I don't know, that was probably like 2 years before I started lifting. Then the after picture is about 2.5 years after I started consistently weightlifting and training with a lower body focus. Later in this video, I am going to take you through a leg day, which is like a very, very typical leg day for me. And I thought it would be pretty beneficial if I'm going to talk about how to grow a butt. I might as well just show you as well. So later in the video, there will be clips from an entire glute workout. It's hot. It's like 2:30, I'm drinking coffee. Linda will pick me up. I can't truly remember the trigger point that made me like just decide to go all out. Like, I want to have the biggest butt in the world. I don't know. When I started weightlifting, I just knew I had to get back into shape because I wasn't in the best shape, and I just kind of started. I really think I only started with one leg day a week when I first started lifting, and then as I started to see results within a couple months, I think I started picking up a second leg day. I was just enjoying it, and I knew training lower body generally burns more calories than training upper body, so I thought that was a good move for me at the time. But I think like being like quote unquote thick and like having a big butt has just recently become popular, and I got lucky to like kind of hop on that train a little bit before it started to really take off, because guys, it takes time. You need to have so much patience to grow muscle in general, but a butt, like truly, it does not happen overnight. It does not happen in 6 weeks. If you ever see someone selling you a program, grow your butt in 6 weeks, and then they have this like huge like bodacious butt, first of all, a lot of those people who are really successful on Instagram have amazing genetics. Infinitely jealous, not mad about it, but like God bless their genetics. They didn't do that in 6 weeks. They work, oh they work, but no. So I'll really keep this short and sweet, to be honest with you. I decided that I wanted to have a big butt, so I started training legs. I do compound movements 2 to 3 times a week. I usually stick closer to the 2 times per week, just because I start to get very like achy and like naggy small injuries. I feel like could grow into something bigger if I do legs 3 times a week. Plus it's really hard to consistently work upper body too while training legs 3 days a week. So mostly generally 2 days a week, heavy compound movements. So that's going to include hip thrusts, which I actually just started incorporating in 2018, the beginning of this year. Never did them before. So really the first like 2 years of me lifting was just squats, deadlifts, lunges, and leg press. So that's what I mean when I say compound movements. Accessory wise, obviously yes, like your abductor, hamstring curls, leg extensions, cable kickbacks, small stuff like that. Those aren't like the focus of my training though. They are accessory movements for a reason. I use them to accompany my heavy compound training. One other major key is gonna be mind muscle concentration. So if you're squatting and you're not really focusing on driving up through your glutes, and you are just kind of either mindlessly doing it or feeling it more in your quads, you have to truly like feel the muscle. Like, that's why I love lifting, because you don't think about anything other than the mind muscle connection when you're doing it correctly. Like, you just feel it. Focus on your glutes, you drive through your glutes, and there's days where you'll have a terrible day and you won't be able to feel the mind muscle connection at all. Like, you can't get your glutes to activate, or even like on days when I'm doing like back, I can't get my lats to activate. Like, it happens, but probably 90% of the time that's not a problem, and I think that's just so huge. Focus on your glutes, like change your positioning if you have to switch up the way your feet are, or how like your stance or anything like that, like anything that will help you feel in your glutes more. That is just a huge key as well. In addition to this consistent training that I've been doing for the past 2.5 years, I've gone through several bulking phases where I've eaten a surplus of calories consistently to put on muscle, and I would eat like extra calories when I was doing legs just because I knew I wanted to go straight to my butt. So that's kind of just like an insight to how I grew a butt in like my elevator pitch, I guess. Yeah, it's not overnight. It's not easy. You have to be consistent and you have to be patient, and it will happen. You'll grow your glutes, but you have to be patient and consistent. Those are my two things. Okay, enough of me rambling. I'm gonna just flip right over to the workout right now. Instead of telling you how I do it, let me show you. I hope you guys enjoy the commentary. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and here's the commentary.
Okay, so some of the footage that I had for when I first started warming up was not very good. So this was the last thing I did for my warm-up. This is just body weight hip thrusts. In addition to this, I usually also will do like some band side steps and then like kind of some hip mobility, dynamic stretching, just because my hips get really tight, as does my lower back, but I find that just like the dynamic stretching really helps. So this was the one thing I did. I didn't have my band with me that day. I completely forgot it, which I will, I'll tell you guys like everywhere where I would use it usually, and right here would be one of the places. So I'm kind of bummed because some of my footage, like I filmed this on my phone and it like went in like normal iPhone way instead of like the horizontal way that I needed it. So this is just me kind of working up to my working reps as far as weight wise on my hip thrusts. I think hip thrusts are just like a huge part, or should be a huge part of your glute routine. Like I told you guys, I didn't really start doing them until this year. I didn't know how to do them. So I started practicing on like a leg extension machine, and then I finally worked my way up to the barbell. I need this blue pad to do it, otherwise my hip bones will be destroyed for like a week. One thing, if you take a look, look at the way I'm driving through my heels, the way my feet are on the ground. So I'll do probably 4 to 5 sets at my working weight, which is going to be anywhere from like 10 to 12 reps. So kind of like I told you guys, the footage kind of got wrecked a little bit. I did sumo deadlifts before I did these good mornings. These are, like I said, good mornings. I did 3 sets. I just like to use 45 pounds. That way I can really feel the movement in my glutes and my hamstrings. Also, I'm extremely happy to start cutting soon because I have been looking thick lately. So the next thing I did was some calf raises. I went through like this weird phase where I didn't do calves at all. But I recently realized that they're kind of small, so I need to start doing some more calf raises. Plus, it's nice to get my heart rate down because my leg day is usually pretty intense, and doing calves like doesn't get my heart rate up that much. One other thing I did want to say is that yes, I do legs in Converse. Having a flat-soled shoe just makes a huge difference for me in getting my glutes to activate. Plus, I have a lot more balance when it comes to like deadlifts and squats, and I'm able to just drive through my heels a lot easier without having like a cushiony padded shoe like a Nike or Adidas shoe. Next up for me was lunges. Lunges used to be the bane of my existence. However, lately I've been absolutely loving them. The activation has been great. So whether it's walking with a bar on my back or putting a bar over my head or doing curtsy lunges or step ups, I'm always incorporating some kind of lunge into my leg day. And I'll make sure to really stretch out far, put my knee to the ground, but don't rest it, bring it right back up, and continue on my way. I do 3 sets of 12. So the next thing I did, I don't really know what these are called. There's some kind of hip thrust on the cable. Basically what I do is kind of mostly, you can see my knees aren't bending much, but I am hinging mostly at my hips and driving forward using my glutes and squeezing at the top. You'll see in the next clip here in a second that I really am squeezing my butt as I come to the top. It's not pretty. Not pretty at all, but that's how you're going to contract your glutes. Don't be afraid of what your butt looks like, because what matters is when it looks or how it looks when you're not in the gym anymore. So once I'm through with all of my compound movements, I move on to my accessory work. This right here is just a lying hamstring curl. My gym also does have a hamstring curl where you can sit and curl your legs under you. I like this machine a little bit better, but I do mix it up at least once or twice a week with the different machines just to get a different feel. Notice how my movement is slow and controlled. My hips are staying on the bench, and I am doing 3 sets of 10 to 12 of these. Another accessory movement that I slept on for a long time were leg extensions. I just had this thing where I didn't want to grow my quads, but recently I've been really working on them. So here's just a normal leg extension, slow and controlled, don't hyperextend my knees. I did 3 sets of, I think, 10, but yeah, very simple. And last thing I'm finishing up with here is abductors. I hover over the seat just because I feel a little bit better in my butt. I go pretty heavy, but movement is still slow and controlled. I really like this movement just as an accessory because I want to grow my outer glutes for a rounder, fuller shape, and I think this is one good way to do it.
That's all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.